This was my first trip. I was with my good friend M, who has been sober his whole life and still is to this day. He's the bookish type. He was a good choice to go with since he was gonna be clean, and is a close friend who I constantly rely on and above all, trust. A little about me. I am currently in a bit of a situation with my family. They push me hard at school and have recently discovered that I smoke weed. I am subject to urine tests now. I am still trying to figure out who I really am as a person. It's hard. I'm not very popular, or very talented, or very motivated. I am probably not the best candidate for LSD. But my mindset that day was one of happiness and comfort. We were at the Further Festival, headlined by Ziggy Marley and the other ones, Remainders of the Dead. I bought the hits in the lot. They were on a little tip portion of one of those garbage bag twist ties. I promptly put it in my mouth and went in. For about half an hour, nothing happened. It was absolutely freezing and I was underdressed for the weather, and the onset blended in with my shivering. Marley was on and I really enjoyed his set, which ended with the sun perched beautifully in the western sky. I was definitely feeling effects. Things began to take on a bit of a sheen, and I became increasingly talkative with M, who was talking about some boring thing, but I was feeling very entertained. As the sun set, the other ones came on and I got up to dance. Now I noticed that every time I tried to keep my legs in any position but locked straight, they shook with a spasm. I think it was partially the cold. As night took hold, the blankets on the ground spun and patterned in the grass. We went to the bathroom and that's when I really felt it. My walking was messed up, it looked like I was marching. I got under control and watched in amusement as the tiled walls of the bathroom twisted and rolled around me. When we went back up, I smoked maybe 3 hits with the people behind me and things exploded. Colorful fractal patterns danced and spun and seemed to actually coat all surfaces. I saw many repeating wallpaperish patterns, like a wheel with ducks inside, rotating slowly, to name one. As I looked at the stage, it became a fractalesque shape and then took the form of a purple sound wave that coalesced to the music. Then things got eerie. I heard my dad's voice yelling at me. I looked over at M and out of the corner of my eye. He looked like a strung-up fish, in body position and facial expression, not actually with fins and stuff, with his eyes rolled back. The band had started its drums space segment, which was totally freaking me out with weird sounds. The visuals had become pure and opaque. I started to feel like people were watching me. I tried to shake off the feeling by dancing, but every time I started to dance, I would get that paranoia. I would look behind me and all around. I decided to just sit and enjoy the music. It was hard. I kept thinking about myself and the start of school, and how I had to become a harder worker and a better person and get in a band and get Phew. My mind was going too fast. My personality was being picked apart and examined thoroughly. I am a very analytical person, and now I was delving into my own head. I realized my insecurities and weaknesses. There are so many. Luckily, the band changed songs and this snapped me out of that particular bad spell. Wow, this stuff was so reactive to my environment. I saw him sitting there, just like me, same position, and this really comforted me. I thought, why would anybody be staring at me at a festival like this, come on. This worked. I sat and soaked up the music. They ended with Sugar Magnolia and I was oh so happy, if not a little shook up. I also noticed that my jaw had been clenched all night. Ouch. The paranoia, although very very slight, came back upon exiting the venue, but I was pretty much fine. But wait. My dad was driving us home. M said, "There's the car, let's go," and I about pissed myself. I greeted my father, put on a tape, sat down, and prayed. He didn't talk much and when he did, I pretended to doze. The street lights and cars flew at me and the road twisted into bizarre forms. It felt like we were going 200 miles an hour. The tape I put in started to get very ominous sounding. I recognized it as a song, but it sounded like thunder and crashing. I took it out, felt better, and faked sleep all the way home. M left moments later, and it was just me, except when I got upstairs, my mom handed me a bag for my garbage can. Why the hell was she up so late? I stupidly fumbled with the can and couldn't get it on. She gave me a look and walked off. I sat freaked over this little doozy for a minute, but then noticed the posters on the wall. I have lots of magazine-sized pictures of bands and guitar players, so the wall is sort of like a mosaic. The people in the pictures seem to melt within the borders of each poster, fill the bottom of it up like a glass of water, and slowly dribble down onto my carpet in multicolored trails of ink. Cool. Everything in my room swelled and expanded, breathing. For some odd reason I grabbed a personal daytimer, calculator thingy and got myself into a diary section I had written. The entries were titled, March 5th, March 7th, and so on, but I had messed up the text so ma was deleted and a whole row of ch5, ch6 was left. I interpreted it as channels, like on a broadband radio. I thought the entries were people trying to talk to me through my day planner. I spent a good 10 minutes peering at these messages from people unknown until I figured it out and broke into gales of laughter. I decided to lie down with some headphones and I put on, Why? Rolling Stones, Exile on Main Street. I was orally transported to the basement in which that recording occurred. I could feel each instrument like an emotion. In the dark, spiraling rainbow shapes whizzed by and I could only smile. Lots of cool stuff happened that night. I saw a great concert, listened to great music afterward, and watched colorful hallucinations melt my room. The trip ended on a positive note, and I felt good the next day. But lots of bad stuff happened too. I had to deal with some intense paranoia, and ride home with my dad. I also got a true feeling of who I was. It was unnerving, and I now realize that I do have to improve myself personality-wise. This can be a devastating revelation to have on LSD. Luckily the band switched tunes here, a testament to how easily I can be swayed by external factors. I think I need to wait until I have a better grip on my world before doing this again. I am not unstable, but I am still not fully realized as an individual. Beautiful as they can be, mind-altering chemicals should be kept to a minimum for me until I straighten myself out a bit. Also, tripping around parents is bad. I cannot tell you the fear I felt in that car. I'm very lucky my old man wasn't tired and didn't ask me to drive. So I don't know. Was this a good trip, or a bad trip? The answer. It was a trip. Nuff said.